Hey Shugs, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be recreating this gorgeous cut crease look I found on Pinterest. So if you're interested, just keep watching. Okay, so I've already did my eyebrows off camera and primed with my Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser by Maybelline and my Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. So I'm going into my masquerade palette from Juvia's Place in the color Bori and pack that above my crease. It's a gorgeous pink color. And I say pack because you really want that color to come through. This is going to be a very vibrant look and you want a lot of pigment. Even though Juvia's palette already has a hell of a lot of pigment. What's wrong with me today? Anyways, I'm going into my Take Me to Brazil palette, and those two oranges I'm going to mix together and use that to blend out Bori. The same passion since I was a teen. I now got things I never seen. Just know that I will always make a way. Chip on my shoulder from my heart to God and all the place. I'm going back into my Juvia's Place palette with the color Chai and Makeda, mixing them together, which is a blue and a purple color. And I'm going to put that in my crease and a little bit above it, making sure that it blends into that pink, which is Bori. Okay, I use this black by Bitsy's custom eyeshadow from Sally's, and it just would not pick up on the lid. So I said, fuck it, and use the color Smooth from my Revolution Chocolate Love palette. It's called Smooth, but it's like a smoky gray, almost black color, and it is what its name is. It's really smooth. And I'm going to pack that in my outer V and wing that out into my crease. But I'm not going to cover up my purple completely. I'm just giving it a little more depth. You want all these colors to make an ombre effect. And blend, babies. Blend, okay? You don't want no patchy areas. Now I'm going to take my brush and just blend all my colors out a little bit more, making sure they blend together smoothly. And then I'm going to go back into my black and make sure that that depth is there. Now I'm going to go into my LA Girl Pro Concealer in medium beige to cut my crease. I cut it first, making like a line, and then I go back in and fill it in. You want to use a small, flat, detailed shadow brush because a chunky brush will mess up your line completely. It won't be as sharp as you want it to. You want to look like you got some skills. You know what I'm saying? Like you was doing this for years. You've been in the makeup game forever, baby. And I'm not going to cut the crease all the way to the end of my lid. I'm going to do 2/3 up the way. Then I'm going to blend that out, which is pat it until it gets semi-dry. Now, here is where I made the first mistake. I'm going to set this with a translucent powder. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I normally never do this, but I set it, and this made it hard as hell for me to pack my pigments on later on. You'll see. I mean, I really struggled. I mean, I wanted to give up, but The girls asked for this video, so I could not just say fuck it. Now I'm going to wipe away the excess translucent powder. And I'm going to go in with the pigment 07 Brighten Up from NYX Cosmetics. And I'm going to place that on the first half of my lid. Wiping off the fallout that came from the shadows. It's a gorgeous pigment, it really is. And any other day it would have came through perfectly, but not today. It was like no matter how much I packed it on, I swiped it. If I messed with it too much, it was coming off and it looked kind of patchy. So I had to keep reapplying it. In the middle of my lid, I'm taking the color, well, the pigment, which is a LA Colors pigment, and it's called Twinkle, which is a gorgeous aqua color, and I'm going to pack that in the middle of my lid. Do you see what I mean? How many times I had to swipe that or pack that on there? How long it took? That's Twinkle. Isn't that gorgeous? It's an ice pigment. I think I'm going to do a look just with that color on it. Well, not only, but the main focus. Okay, I used my fingers on this one because I realized real quick that that was the only way that I was going to be able to get that pigment to show up on my lid. And after I get that one on, I'm going to go to the end real close to the black and use Constellation, which is a NYX pigment. Make sure you blend those pigments together. Wherever they end, blend them together because you don't want a harsh line. So I'm taking my NYX Gel Pen Liner in Pitch Black and I'm going to line my waterline. And then I'm going to go back into my Juvia's Place palette. And all the colors that I used on my crease and above my crease, I'm going to use those same colors to smoke out the eyeliner, which is what Bori and Chai and Makeda. So that pink, that purple, that blue, because you want your look to be cohesive. And this look is a bit extra, quite like your girl. I am very much an extra bitch. So now I'm going back into my Revolution palette and I'm taking the color Whipped and putting it and placing it under my eyebrow on my brow bone as my highlight shade for that part. And I'm going to blend it into that pink a little bit. Now I did have a little fallout, so this is where you see me wiping it away. Now I'm going into my Babe in Paradise highlight palette from Morphe. I'm going to use the color Vacation and Get Laid and put that in my tear duct because that's my highlight color for that part. And as you soon will find out, your girl loves a little shine. Let me talk about a lot of shine. Using my NYX Epic ink liner in my eyelid, well, on my upper eyelid to make my wing. Then I'm going to take my LA Colors Jumbo Pen pencil in black to tightline my lash line. Tightlining is where you get really close to your lashes and in that upper waterline so that you do not see any spaces or skin. Some of us girls cannot put our lashes on all the way close to the lash line. So tightlining will make it easier so you can't see the gap. I put my lashes off camera because I suck at doing it on camera. And I'm using a few drops of Revolution liquid highlighter on my face in the color Champagne. Now, I normally don't use this because the first time I used it, it made me super fucking greasy. I'm an oily girl and it did not want to work with me. But the way Becca snatched my fucking life, oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, there was no greasy look. There was no shine like I was oily. It just was awesome. It just was perfect. So I'm going to use my foundation. Which is the Super Stay Full Coverage Foundation by Maybelline in the shade Toffee Caramel 330. And I'm using the same brush that I use to put that liquid highlighter on. I would normally use a beauty blender, but with Becca, I noticed that you have to use a brush to get it to turn out the way you want it to, so it's not all streaky and patchy. And the brush that I'm using came from Marshall's. I need to go get more because I love this brush. I'm in love with this brush. It's called Royal and Long Nickel Complexion Brush. And I'm going to go into my concealer again in medium beige and hit my forehead, my nose, the corners of my mouth where I crease, my chin, my cupid's bow, because I love that feature on my face. It's one of my favorite features. I really wanted to pop. And go underneath my eyes. So I was going to do my eyes, but then I realized I want that area to set. Because when you let it sit a little while, the concealer thickens up and it helps give you a fuller coverage. So I'm going to do my chin first, around my mouth area, my forehead, and then my nose and cupid's bow. And I'm taking just a small concealer brush. It has no name. And I'm patting that. In. I mean, you can swipe a little bit, but I prefer to swipe a little bit and do mostly patting. And this blended amazingly. I mean, I did not expect the outcome that it gave me. This is my new routine, guys. I mean, I might not ever use a beauty blender again. Okay, I'm lying. I'm lying. Then I'm going to take my contour shade it's the color Toast, and it's the LA Colors. Sorry, LA Girl Pro Concealer. And I'm going to take that on my forehead, my jawline, my nose, and the hollows of my cheek. I also like to put it underneath my lip to give me a pouty look because my lips are small to me. And in the center of my cupid's bow. I'm taking that same brush because it has a little bit of that product to make those colors come together smoothly. it has a little bit of that product left from the last time I used it from my foundation. And I'm going to pat that in. And look how it snatched my jawline. Can you say double chin where? Huh? So I'm gonna just blend that out. And I used a little bit too much product on my jaw or on my in the hollows of my cheeks. So I'm gonna dab a little bit of it off on a paper towel and then continue to go left and right to blend it out. And then I'm gonna carry it into my forehead area. And after it mostly blended out, I'll take it over my cheek or my contour, well, my highlighted concealer area. Some years ago, I started to lose my focus. Can't take no more with this was hopeless until I find a way to get back on my feet. You ain't know, but somehow I'm keep it bold. Now I'm taking a smaller brush to blend out my nose. If you want your nose to be snatched, you cannot use the same brush that you use on your face. You have to use a smaller brush to get that effect. I mean, you want your nose to look like you went to the doctor and just came back from a rhinoplasty and they snatched your life all the way together. I mean, this nose, you want it to be pinched, honey, pinched. I can't relate on what you did to me that brought this hate. Fulfilling my dreams, I will not stop until I'm wide awake. So much on my plate, but they don't know how much is at stake. You wanna play, I wanna grind and take my shine away. So I'm taking my Sasha setting powder in the color Buttercup, and I'm going to set all my highlighter areas. So that's under my eyes, my nose, my forehead, my chin, around my mouth. I know you doubted me, so now I gotta prove it this. So I'm going to turn my sponge to the side to do my nose because I don't want to do it flat on because it's going to be really big. It's going to be a big highlighted area. So I'm going to take the sides because it's smaller and pack that powder on. And I'm not going to let it bake because for me, using the Becca is already a mattifying primer. If I let it bake, it's going to look all cakey and crusty, and I don't like that. So I'm just going to take that same sponge and pat that powder in. You see how it goes in and it's not as yellow? Just pack it in. And whatever is left, you'll take your brush and wipe it away. I'm cutting the bottom of my contour. You don't have to do this. As I stated before, you don't have to do this. I'm an extra hoe. Now, take this powder brush and I'm going to wipe away all the excess powder. Now I'm going to take my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Finishing Powder and Natural Beige, and I'm going to take that and set my entire face. It also helps to get rid of the yellow cast underneath my eyes from the Sasha Buttercup. I'm going to use that in all my highlighted areas over my entire face. And then I'm going to use my my Ruby Kisses No More Blemish powder in the color Cafe. And that's a darker powder. It's good for your bronze areas. And I'm going to set the lower half of my face and my forehead area where I want my face to be a little bit darker. Now, this blush is everything. I love blush. I'm a very blush girl. And it's from City Colors. It's Be Matte Blush in Fresh Melon. And yes, I made a duck face, but you have to make ugly faces to get your makeup to be perfect. Just like you can't be a good singer, if you don't make ugly faces, you cannot be a good makeup artist if you don't make the same faces. Now going into my Ultra Contour Kit, I'm going to take the color Bombshell Bronze and hit the hollows of my cheek to set that liquid contour, well, that cream contour, and to make it a little bit more, give it a little bit more depth. I'm going to hit my forehead. And with a darker shade, which is Goddess, I'm going to get underneath my lip so it casts a shadow, looking more natural. I'm going to set my nose and my cupid's bow and my jawline. Making sure when you set your nose, you get a small brush. I cannot stress this enough. You want a small brush so that that dark shadow does not go all the way on your cheek or cover your nose too much. And I like to take my bronzer into my eyebrows or into that shadow to make it look seamless. I'm going to take my Urban Decay setting spray and spray my entire face. It's Urban Decay De-Slick. And then let that dry a little bit, and then I'm going to go into my highlighting palette, which is Carly by Bell, and use the second shade to the bottom, that gold shade, and I'm going to use that on my cheeks. My chin, my cupid's bow, my nose, and underneath my eyebrows, and also in my tear ducts to bling that eye look out. And after that, I'm going to go back over my cheek area with my Babe in Paradise palette and use Vacation. Now, as I stated, I'm a little bit extra. You don't have to put two highlights on, but I love my gleam. I love to shine. I'm bright like a diamond, so the world needs to take notice. You know? Just a little bit of extra never hurt nobody. Look at that. Hey, that's shine. Now, for my lips, I'm going to go in with my NYX lip liner in light brown and line my lips. Now, this color is gorgeous. It really didn't show up dark as I wanted to for the look that I wanted. So I'm going to go back over that and mix it with my Nicka K lip liner in Wild Cherry. That's better. Then I'm taking my Revlon Metallic Ultra HD Matte Lip Color in Gleam. And I also went over that with a lip lacquer in the color Unreal, because this was a little bit too pinky for me and I wanted a more nudie kind of color. So I'm going to go over that with a Revlon liquid lacquer in the color Unreal. Then I'm going to set my face with my MAC Prep and Prime setting spray. And that's the end. I hope you guys love this video. I enjoy doing it for you. And if you like, hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos, hit that subscribe button. Just to see what your girl is doing in the future, you know? Thanks for watching to the end. I love you.